let me tell you why.
Because of the children.
Okay, getting children.
Even the children now,
you get them ready.
Clothes, shoes, everything. Then I get myself ready.
I'll be sitting for ready for
And then we're ready. Anyway, that's all.
a lot of things are
young man.
a lot of things are covered after kids have left home. There's a lot of things I didn't notice before.
Now the birds.
Now the ball is about
The truth is
Loneliness.
That's true.
In my house, my son and my husband, they'll be ready in 10 minutes. They are downstairs, but my daughter, she would have chosen her outfit. That's the short. No, that's the short. That outfit, a lot of what she did. So he will come upstairs. And the worst you can ask a woman is, how long are you going to be? Just go and sit down downstairs. Just wait. This is why I don't like to go out with people.
I'll tell you that I found someone who's like my friend. Just laugh.
No, the camera is, where am I?
Men are the same people. Funny enough, I can't remember.
Was it like that? No, was your father-in-law like that?
My own father. Would dress.
Was it like that?
And at the door, he was there at the car.
I know they say. I
That's
know my
your
parents, yes. I know, I remember my parents.
And then at that time, she's wearing her
On a pool.
Then he's outside.
I've been left.
But you know, by the time they get to the cocktail,
The
cocktail is finished. It's finished.
No, the only time I can remember is it's good. That's the only time I can remember. That's my dad. That's the only time I can remember.
And now it can make sense.
you both have that in common.
When government cocktails is 7 to 8, it is 7 to 8. There's nothing 8:30.
There's nothing like 5 hours.
No.
You know, the governor has invited you to a cocktail because somebody has come or is celebrating something.
So your mom is not ready for the cocktail?
Then she's wearing her clothes. Oh, pull here. At 7 o'clock,
You're still
you're still at home.
I was brought up in Port Harcourt. Yes. My name
William Jumbo.
yes, Fortin and Smith. Those are my names. I'm tomorrow.
Listen,
Auntie Elizabeth and my mom.
Tom's mother.
We're told that age bed anyway.
Very close friend.
This is erratic.
So maybe I will know your
This is
mom.
not nice. She will be able to say this.
They were always
But Taurus mom and my mom.
yes. We always have to do.
I'm mechanic. You know, those are my Fortin zero now.
Puro and we were like,
Puro is in New Jersey.
we were always come. We were always together as we were talking. Puro and
No,
we
it's
were
not
like,
like that, but I didn't use my secondary school for my dad.
One of the greatest quarrels I've had with my husband is when he's gone to church without me. He said he will wait 5 minutes and I go outside and it's gone.
well done, guy. Well done.
You understand?
Well done.
That really pains me.
I have walked church. He said he's coming. I said, I'm not coming. And then he would drive. I don't think you want to drive. Because I want to avoid that. I cannot wait for you.
I feel so hurt. You're going to the house. You don't have any patience. And you've gone. I feel that's how you
Patients can be very
You said you were late, so
That's what he has said.
he didn't want to be late.
Yeah, he said he can never eat, never late.
That's me too.
I was so proud of you.
Oh yes, that's right. That's right. Yes, we were so shy. Now I can remember 179. It was on Sky. That's right.
The particular road when
So how we started was it's like China. Remember China a couple of months ago? in China,
We can't get every minority women to let's find what cultures they live in. Africans, I mean, someone says to you, the BJ, my name is what I say. Watch that thing. And people always say to me, physical violence is African.
I hope that that's what I'm looking at.
If someone tells you every day that you're on
Yeah, but I mean,
just break it down.
something we are
And that's what we're all about. We're all about put them there to be a better person. So eventually we launched about 20 years ago as an official group, only because people were saying, why don't you just help me one or two people? Why can't you become a functional group and help more people? And then we started out saying, okay, we'll help Nigerian and African women. So we started working forward for these, like, they're like the biggest ethnic minority charity of Nigeria. And so we'll get the FGM women and we'll send it to them. Domestic violence, we dealt with the National Domestic Violence Helpline, which is with the whole country. And subsequently, we then one of the things oh no, last weekend I couldn't buy tissue paper. The tissue paper was £1. And she wasn't poor. It was a lot of because she abused this person,
Relatively, and she was
financially abused her, so she paid for her.
Yeah, because her business
So I need to communicate with her. What happens is we come out with a system in your bank. And that's how I and basically they're like hacks that we get.
I think the group is just, we decided it's going to 20.
No, she has a case in yeah, I'm a big woman. No, we're talking about the legal thing that she grew up with. I'm telling her that. No, he was a commissioner for the you grew up right from small. I know now, from David.
So it's all about
I'm not pregnant. I'm mom. She went to township school.
the first time we went
And then went. No, another one. School went to township. I went to township. What did you do? The town sisters. Yeah, we're all at township. Okay. You know, that's where all of us
like, right? And that's how men got into the work we do. So we have a lot of men that volunteer for us. At the moment, we're on the Team London, Mayor of London, so they send us a lot of like volunteers that come to different acts, they do different things. And this year, I said, what women do? You know, I look at UN women, like I work with UN women as well for this particular program. I look at UN definition of gender-based violence, talks about women. What happens to all the men that the men that right? So we started saying that what we're doing is just about women. It's about how do we all work together as a group to get to where we are. Because a lot of my volunteers are men. At least 30% of our volunteers are Nigerian. The guy that does it is an Arabic boy. Contacted us one day and started doing a lot of the media stuff for free. He designed stuff for free. I just told him, Hassan, do this for me. I've never met him. He did it. So what happens to this next? Who actually goes on the campaign for women? This year when we started getting more men involved, he came and says, I'm going to do a video for you. He doesn't know how to put it out for me because the Nigerian one. He's going to be a campaign because whatever he says, I don't mind. Because he's done it in the South and then he'll run it on YouTube and do different. So the whole idea of this year was to get more men involved. So we spread our wings and started helping male refugees also. I want to see if we can come more. And they're not just men that it's just for everyone. And then this year, Jeremy spoke to me about this for thing and said, oh, since you guys always do a natural ball every year, what about us recognizing men? I said, oh, you can't get out of ours. This is why I always wanted to do it. How do we get men to realize that during competition, we work together, right? So we said, okay, we'll do this for heroes. And I turned to Jen and I said, you and women have been for I've always been part of since we started 5 years ago. I think it was almost 5 or 6 years. We will contact you and offer an arm of friendship and say, would you guys come on board and then just this program to get it back. And I was shocked when I got a call from you saying, no one's said about doing this, right? And then we went to speak to different people who said, no one's said about men. Everyone talks about women. We give ourselves awards every day because we're the gender people that we are. And that's how I look at it, right? Why don't we follow that one awards? What we need is a family structure that works. So if you say marriage between a man and a woman, how come this man abuses her when this man was brought up by a woman? Is it that the parenting of women is wrong? Or is it that the women that they bring into society is wrong? Or is it that the men are just wrong? So I think that the women can achieve something by working together. So I remember speaking to young women, they said to me the team for this year is count everyone into. We're counting men and women in, and we're saying let's sit down and have a dialogue where we're working together. And I'm not sure if Jenny told you guys, as part of the He for She initiative, we have something else called What She Wants campaign. That came about because a lot of we've had women that we've helped, got them out of their abused homes, helped them get council flats and even get citizenship in this country, because once you're abused, you automatically get escalated. And then one day they drop off the radar. The next time you see them, they're back with that same man. They're pregnant, they're having a child. So I said, obviously I can't tell them what to do anymore, they're adults. So what we want to do with What She Wants is say to people, what do you guys actually want? Yeah? And then we also want men there, because I want men to say to me, if a woman says to you, if a wife says to you, you're really silly, do you know it as you're really silly?
Well, you know, I've been
When she was removed to the hospice, I was talking to somebody about you. Do you know he's done this? And the guy told me that he was dying. And she told us. Yeah, so I just thought
no, the only Nigerian that has
Islamic, Christian, whatever you want. One of them is one.
I don't want anyone to tell me this my car.
I think we built because they know that there's nothing. You walk for that field, it's not like so everyone's trying to decision. So why I'm so excited that so many men. Not women. And on that the speakers that we have at the moment is the mayor of Bar is speaking only because he's done 17 years work in domestic violence. There's only one woman speaking that day, only because of a reason. But every other person about 40 is about men, hating men.
Because you're passionate about it.
That's what I expect. And that's it. So that's what we really want to them. People really couples, like our teams have always been about couples. It's not about just women, right? Because it's okay for women to say we're victims of everything. I don't even believe in victim mentality. I should do that. We need to work together. And that's what
It's a good initiative.
people have like doubts or whatever they should really openly contract.
Quite interesting. And that's
And
why
that's
we're
just
here.
for the deal. MC for the deal. They're going to rope him in now. So he's not going to run.
No, I didn't. It's done.
So he's not going to run him up there. Thank you.
Let's just put in attendance.
President. He's always been men. It's the first time.
Tomorrow. Oh yeah.
Oh, this one's different. Blue cheese and walnut. Okay, well, thank you very much. You're welcome. I love blue cheese and walnut. Is that?
Especially today now. Have you seen how they took kind of thing? They took more and more.
Small beats now.
We ordered it for you. Finish it.
Thank you.
No, because now in Nigeria, if you're having a big party, you need to have a small
So it's like
do as a service.
okay, little stick meat.
Yeah.
With some sauce.
So
Yes.
they will do
That's
that.
what some people can take also. Very small chops, especially. Okay, thank you. Moi orange.
That's what I said that to my friend. Oh, the cockroach brown. Adam and Lisa agree.
Fantastic. They're cleaning the colors back.
No, they clean. I said to one of my friends, I said the last time I checked, I wanted to take color analysis. Analyst, there was no color that I know is going.
My dear, I will eat that food or anything you want to
Louisa, very from the lawyer.
Yeah.
Cockroach juice, color my soul.
Adama
She said she wants to the one I heard was my orange. And it went to green.
The way you green is basically means the way you
The one I heard was that laid off. Was it black white? So it's the charcoal black that's right, red. So it takes us back to our country. First of all, I got to thank you, sweetie. And maybe they should change it to positive. That's right. Cassava is green. But you now know the it's the women. They've got different levels. I'm trying to think of one that everybody knows is not right.
Even that one is good.
Yeah,
most of them are going to tomato and tomato red. They love tomato red.
One can be
Madam, good evening.
watermelon. Did she find special? Did she find
Remember that I've been calling you since.
Yeah, especially from the
Sorry. I was going to meet my people, but I said I haven't been to you, so I said let me greet you. Good to see you.
It was easy to find you.
Yeah, but you don't trust me.
To work now.
Hello, darling. You know, this time. Very well.
Good to see you. Good evening, madam. Good evening. Good evening. Non-alcohol is from juice. From the
What you used to do?
I'm beginning to tell my dad that Dr. Zike is very, very problem. No, I wanted to say to you the other time. I keep forgetting. Dr. Zike don't joke with my son. Yes, you find out about it. I know.
No, he's not that. So both of them, Mr. and Mrs. My mother-in-law was the man was when they married, they no need to change names.
So we just need to make it up.
Hello.
My uncle was one of the
thank you everyone for coming. Like, we're really grateful. Like, I don't even know, we're so overwhelmed to see everyone because it was quite short notice. Hi everyone. One voice. So thank you so much for coming again. Like, it was so short notice, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm overwhelmed that everyone's here. So we're gonna kick out first of all by, I just want to say the He for She initiative is about getting men into the work that we do. So I want someone shared a video with us once. It's gonna be a secret who the person is, because the person sat somewhere in this room. And we were really moved to tears when we heard that video, because it just took the words out of our hearts. Jenny sent it to me and I was like, oh my Lord. In the middle of the shift, I was like, we have to play this video with everyone. So I'm going to start out with this video, and then that way it tells us that great men are doing things out there for women. Why are we not talking about them? So I don't know, I've never met this man, but I'm hoping that maybe we'll get him.
We cannot always this thing around this women's organization is talking about child abuse, but actually the problem is asking men. So I think there's need actually for us to have that conversation. I'm fully aware that in our government for this holiday, we already have a minister of women affairs, but there's no minister for men's affairs. Yet all the crimes that are happening they're being caused by men. Or even challenge the political structures. But the issue of the girl child, women this, women that, we need to duplicate all those models and begin also to do a deliberate intention of developing men around us. I believe, my daughter, that from where we've started now, we'll grow and fill up the whole country. From the country, we will reach the continent and beyond. But ultimately, the African man has something to contribute to our civilized society. For men are the pillars of their own homes. If men are the heads of the homes, then women are the neck and the children are the hands and the feet, etc. We need order in our homes. And in the midst of all these feminist organizations, I stand to be corrected. Until I find light that is better, in the midst of all these female organizations, we tend to find that they find men totally unprepared for the quality of changes that they have made. For that reason, I want to challenge all the men out there. Love your women, don't abuse them. Clean them up, please. Buy stuff for them, spoil them. If you have girls like I do, I got 4 of them. If you have girls like I do, love them and know that in as much as they are staying with you, they're not yours. They belong to another man out there who's going to take them as a wife. But I hope that after I've prepared my children to become good citizens, to you as a wife, that you also, your mother and your father is preparing you also to become a good husband to my own children. This is Ubuntu. What I'm doing for myself, I'm actually doing it for you. And what you're doing for yourself, you're also doing it for me. If you can bring up your boy child, I'm bringing up a girl child. And two children well brought up together, we can actually combine homes. Divorce is high, diseases are high, child sacrifice is high, abuse is high, everything is high. We do not become part of statistics. I want to challenge every man out there, be responsible, be loving, be kind, be good to yourself. Yes, show that extra gentleness of being a human being. For the seeds that you're planting today, you're going to harvest tomorrow. Development. Let us make
So I don't know, like, I think one thing that really got me from his voice was the fact that he says that the seeds that we're planting today is going to change the world, isn't it? It's going to tell me what happens tomorrow. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Okwuí Masking, which is one of the organizations that is working with Women's Rights Watch International to bring up this He for She initiative. Okwuí means the word of God, right? But then the full name means Okwuchukwu, and it's my mother's name because we started out this organization together. And we used the word, her name, because all through our lives, what I knew her for was speaking out for women. And she used to be a family lawyer and she defended women. Even in Nigeria, where people felt, no one does that, right? We all keep quiet because it's not your business. If you go into someone's house and you see that someone is being battered, we all just close our eyes and walk away. Because why do we want to spoil the structure? What we think is that they need to stay together so that the family is a good system and the world thinks is all good. What is the mask? The mask is because I could walk into this room today, very happy, pretend like my life is so rosy and cheerful. One day, everyone does social media, they say I've died now, and then someone says, oh, do you know who killed her? Husband killed her. But you're not going to say to me that no one knew I was being hit by anyone else. And I've got 20 friends, 30 friends, we don't know. Because people walk around saying to the world, my life is perfect. It's not my problem. So that's one part of the mask. The other part of the mask is me and you in this room, who will walk out on the street and see someone battering someone and just say, it's not really my business, I don't want to get involved, right? It's okay. My neighbor cries every day, I'm not going to do anything. And then when my neighbor eventually loses their life, because when we talk about loss, I think that's the one that gets everyone talking. When it's death, everyone panics, right? When we talk about loss, everyone says, okay, now my neighbor's died, maybe I should have called someone. What stopped you from calling someone the first time you heard her scream? Or you heard him scream? Because it's not just about women, it's about men and women working together. So what we try to do with Okwuí Masking is to actually to bring out the word from people, to say to them, I have survived this, right? And this is where I am, so you have people that can help you get to where you want to be. And that's what we're all about, is motivating people, getting people to get to where they want to be. Now, the He for She initiative is part of what we do, because what we say is, stand up and say you've been abused, right? They try to destroy you when you're standing here speaking, which means you actually won this war. It's very simple. They haven't killed you. You stood up and you spoke to people and you said to people, I don't want this anymore. And that's what we want people to do, especially African people, to try and talk about. And there's something else this guy said in his video that's really important. He talked about statistics. In the UK, we're so developed, so everything is like really nice. But still, one every week, a woman or two or three, how many do you think die every week from domestic violence, like physical deaths? 4 or 5 women. 4 or 5 women, right? And 1 in 3 women in her lifetime, not this year, in her entire lifetime, will be a victim of some form of violence. And we're in the 21st century, and we're feminists, and we're all talking about women empowerment. The statistics is not getting better. When we talk about Nigeria, well, mostly Nigerians here, I think. When we go to Nigeria, there's no statistics, yeah, because no one talks about it. It's acceptable, isn't it? Apart from Lagos State, who is doing work on domestic violence, nobody else talks about it in Nigeria. We all do hush-hush. You call your grandma and say, oh, he just hit me. Your grandma will say, yeah, they used to beat me, therefore it's okay. No one leaves their husband because they beat them. And when we talk about beating, I think beating makes people understand what we talk about. But let's take a step away from beating. What about when someone tells you every day that you're no good, you're never going to succeed, you're ugly? What happens to your psyche? I'm a doctor and I work with people, and I have so many people that have depression, anxiety disorder, that have really been abused. And it's okay for you as an adult or a family person or a parent to say, I'm happy living in violence. Oh, well and good. If that's what you want to live your life with, that's perfect. But what happens to your child that watches this happen every day? Who then ends up being completely destroyed? They wake up and they go into a society where they believe that violence is acceptable because their moms they never stood up to fight or protect themselves. So when that happens to them, they stay on and just deal with it. So Okwuí masking came about because we felt that ethnic minority women in the UK were hiding behind a mask. So is it that we're hiding behind the thing that someone is going to say, my Lord, her marriage failed, it's such a bad thing, don't worry about it. Right? Or they're hiding behind the mask that says, the men are always right, so we don't challenge them. If they hit me, I say it's okay. Next day, I take a little bit more. And that's why we came about. And today, we've grown beyond ethnic minority people. We've reached, like, I don't know how many people reach at the moment, but at the moment, we work with over 300 refugees across the whole of the UK. And the different projects that we do, one of the programs we do in the UK is called Kickstart Help by Okwuí. As I said to you, what we want to do is motivate people, get them back. So how do we kick you back into reality? Saying to yourself, you've come out of this, you survived, how do you get to the next level? That's what we're talking about. So I'm saying it's bad, you've been abused. How do you tell this person that abused you that you can be anything you want to be? That's where we're going. Because you're going to kneel down, you're going to speak, you're going to shout out and say, I survived this predator. Because that's how I see it. It's like being oppressed by someone, and you stand up and say to them, I survived it. The other things that we do is something called the domestic violence ambassadors. And everyone here can start it in their workplace, right? I'm orthopedic surgery, but I talk about domestic violence every time. Before you ask me 3 words at work, I talk about domestic violence. And I talk about gender violence. Because I feel that if I speak about it every day, someone out there will say, maybe when everyone is gone, I can come and tell her that I'm in this situation, how do you help me? But if I talk about them, I can talk about it, I'll say, your clothes are really beautiful. Then I say, this is the work we do. What do you think about it? And that's how we start with a simple conversation about, well, maybe I went to do domestic violence thing. What do you think about that? People actually come back and say to you, how do I seek help? Because you're the one, I believe that each and every one of us can save one person from these statistics and kill them. We just need to spread the word, and that's what we want to try and do. Now in Nigeria, because I always say charity begins at home, we started 2 projects. One is called First Day Woman Campaign. And what the First Day Woman Campaign does is we actually go to grassroots women that have survived domestic violence or FGM or rape. And someone in the society, other organizations will recognize this woman and say she wants to rebuild herself, because I believe we have to rebuild. You've been destroyed, you've come out, where do you go to? You have to tell this person I'm better than what you thought I was, right? So they then identify these women and bring them to us, and we start businesses for them that helps empower them. And I'm going to show you guys something. I love my shoes. It was done by a woman that we've empowered. And I wear the products, I love it. And it might not be Louis Vuitton or whatever, but I love it because this woman has rebuilt herself. And she's saying to us, I want to be a new person. And that's what we do in Nigeria. And we have a safe haven project, which is in really big, but what it does is, again, grassroots women that are being mentored by survivors and professional women, and then they basically just give them a home for a few months so they're much more safe and send them back into the society when they can independently work with themselves. So this year, this amazing woman that I've known a long time said to me, she's always teasing me about one thing. She says, you started this organization in Nigeria 17 years ago. When I came back to the UK and I had a lot of my friends that were professional women like me call me in the middle of the night because I never stopped talking. I'm not scared of any man. So if your husband hits you, you call me, I go to him and say, if you hit her, I will ring the police. She might not be able to ring the police, but I will ring the police. And my brother used to say to me, one day someone's going to kill her. I said, I don't care. If I die because I saved one woman, that's perfect for me. So this woman said to me, when you started this organization, you started it because of ethnic minority women, and it's gone beyond that because we're working with Women's Aid, we're working with Team London and different people. And somehow, we do programs and we do events every day, and we never get African people involved because most times when we sit there, we're doing a program to raise money, they ask me, oh, but it's so expensive, or why must it be done here, or different things. That was what we used to hear, right? But there's a woman I've always known since when I was like growing up. And her story has always motivated me. And she's called Jenny Chico Kafo. And I speech is amazing. I want to say, you didn't know I was going to take a step out of the speech. So, last year, when I had a really horrible year, I had a program packed, I had tickets all sold out, I had people coming from Nigeria and different places, and I was just stuck, I couldn't do anything. My team was there. My team doesn't like people getting involved because they say this is our baby project, we want to get ownership of it, but that's not what we're here for. We're here about spreading tentacles and getting other teams on top of what we do. So we talked about the fact that in the middle of an event, Jenny would bear witness, a boy that was supposed to be our MC stood up and told the story of how he had been raped and abused for 17 years of his life by his auntie. And he wasn't a boy that had no education. He was a lawyer. His father was a judge. His father used to be one of the attorney generals of Nigeria. And he stood and told his story in front of everyone. And that got me thinking. I went back to look at the definition of gender-based violence. UN says it's against women. What happened to this boy who was constantly abused? And with him, he brought a lot of other male volunteers, and each and every one of them had survived some form of violence. But no one talks about them. Because women are the ones that abuse, and we're always the victim. And as this man said, women bring up these men that end up abusing people. So are we bad mothers? Our parenting skills bad? Or is it because they live in that violence and they accept it? So this year we said we wanted to get more men involved. So we spread our tentacles and stopped talking about Kickstart Pact by Okwuí was for women initially. We look at the posters, it talks about women, 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 women. So this year we took on male refugees, and I've had the privilege to go on to a refugee in Cornwall to visit an actual male refuge. And I came out of it with tears in my eyes because they're completely destroyed. A man is supposed to be in charge, and someone breaks him down. And I've met families with men, and they're not like we don't discriminate, so homosexual, whatever, cross-dressers, whatever, I've met all of them. Being abused. Why should they be abused because they're men? They're supposed to be the stronger people. So when I was talking to Jenny told me about he for she. He said, Chichi, this year, your programs are called Amority, Love Deserved. You guys are always claiming love, 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 love. Why don't we give a little bit of love to other people that work with us? And that's how we talked about he for she. But then I'm going to introduce Jenny for one other thing. Jenny has this amazing, amazing project that we talked about called Women Rights Watch International. So when Okwuí came, decided to change their team this year to he for she, we said, but then someone told me about this thing, so it's not my project, it's our project. Because even if I change 100 people's lives and I work on my own, I will never be able to reach more people, and that's why all of you are in this room today. Because we're saying to you guys, let us spread the tentacles and come together as a team. It's about teamwork. It's not about who starts a project and who doesn't start a project. And the reason why UN Women is so successful is because they spread tentacles. I spoke to one of them last week and she said to me, I love this program you guys are doing. This is what we're thinking of doing. So when we come onto your program, we want to introduce this thing that we're doing because we want to get African people involved in what we're doing. And I'm like, yeah, bring it on. I'm happy. Let's do this. So I want Jenny to talk a little bit about Women's Rights Watch International, which is the second partner for this amazing event. I think it's he for she. And after that, we're going to hear from some people that wanted to tell you guys about what they've done for women. And I'll take it from there.
Thank you, Chichi. I'll go straight into it because we started a little late. Women's Rights Watch International is my baby. And the reason why it's my baby, and I also think about he for she, is because I'm a victim of domestic violence myself. I got married quite early in life. I think I married at the age of 20, and by the time I'm 26, I was separated. All the fights and everything, I didn't know what I was going or coming. And I returned to the UK not knowing my direction, but somehow by sheer providence, I found my fate. And every time I think about the journey I have made, I keep saying, well, if I had someone holding my hand, I could have actually reached my destination earlier than I did, and I still aspire to do. So that was why, first of all, I set up a women's group. And as I set up the women's group, people tell me things that, sometimes I go to bed, I can't sleep. There are beautifully dressed women with big handbags and shoes and all of that. And, when they tell you things they go through, somebody came to my house one day and she was also nicely dressed in her big Jeep and everything, and she fell on the floor. And I thought, what's going on? She said to me, look, if you can get someone to take my Jeep, take my jewelry, take everything, and just give me joy and peace,
I would be very happy. It was then that I realized that she's been a victim of domestic violence. And I have also met men who will talk about domestic violence, but they're ashamed to talk about it because they don't want anybody. How can I tell my mother that my wife is slapping me around and things like that? So we're hiding it. So I thought to myself that it might be an idea to create a forum where people can come and talk about their issues very openly. I am a human rights lawyer, and naturally humanity is my religion. I read a lot about Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, and the rest of them, America Aid, and all of that. So I thought maybe I should borrow that concept and do a Women's Rights Watch International, and this should be a magazine which will be written in various languages, but written by the women for themselves, for the world. And the way I want to do it is to set up a website where we have all the 54 countries of the world. We share it by continent, so that if you want, this month, we say we're going to talk about domestic violence. And when we talk about domestic violence, I want everybody to understand that it's a two-way street. It is not something that men only do, because there is a stigmatization of men and also women in various aspects of life, but we need to come together to achieve a goal, an objective. So I thought that it would be nice if we do this magazine, first of all, to start online, where I will say that this month, we are going to talk about domestic violence or gender-based violence or whatever, and then every Asian subcontinent will discuss it, Africa, Europe, America, and if I want to know what's happening in Europe, I will go to the European page and see what's happening. If they want to know what's happening, they can come to the African page. However, the end game for me is that if we're able to talk about this over a period, we can then gather the thoughts of women and men together to find out the similarities in the experiences they have, so that if they are similar, we then need to begin to look at finding a common solution, so that it's no longer a question that my husband, who is living with me in England, beats me black and blue. He jumps on the flight and runs off to Pakistan or Nigeria, and when he goes there, nothing happens. If we can actually use this to go to UN, go to AU, and have a harmonized law that says that if you are a victim of domestic violence, you are a victim of domestic violence, whether you're a man or woman, and you can't be prosecuted by any government. So that is the essence of it. And while I was thinking about it, I thought, why is it that whenever I go to awards, it's women rewarding themselves? Why is it that there are great men in our society, in our communities, in our lives, who are doing great things, who are very proud of their daughters, like my father was, but we're not talking about them? I am who I am today because I can come in, I was a tomboy, I'll jump in and say, Dad, I'm going to scale this wall now. If you have reading and smoking, he says, but Pet, I know you can do better than that. Just that wall, you can do better than that. So he encouraged me, he inspired me. And there are men like that in the lives of their daughters, sisters, wives, and all of that. I love a song that I normally play all the time, Just Because of You. Okay, because of you, because of the man in my life, I am who I am. That man could be your father, could be your brother, could be your uncle, could be your cousin, could be anybody. We want to engage these men because as far as I'm concerned, so much has been said, so much has been done, so much has also been achieved in the areas of women development. But what is very peculiar is that all these achievements are achievements made by women. So now we are still carrying on. How much longer are we going to talk about it? My grandmother talked about it. My mother talked about it. I'm talking about it. I don't want to hand that over to my daughter to keep talking about the same thing. I want her to talk about a different thing, and her children too. So the only way we can do that is to deal with the remainder of things that we need to do in order to have a safe, fair, and just society, where men and women move together, recognize their talents, and they can do things together. And the only way we can do it is to work together as a team. If we come together to have children, why can't we come together to do women development? We should do it together. So I went to an AU conference at Chatham House, and I spoke to the lady who was in charge. We were having a session. So I raised the question. I said, look, do you think that we will ever achieve whatever we're looking for as women in terms of women development without men being involved? And the house was electric. A lot of people said, you're right, that's a very relevant question. We cannot do that because, for instance, in my own days, if I left my home to come to a place like this, meet all these guys, and then you take pictures, and my ex-husband saw it, I've been messing around with all these men, and now all these women are bad women because they're teaching me how to run around with men. And you know, there are people who are still living that way in this London. I had a women's event, and I invited a friend of mine for a very long time and said, look, you come and come out. Her husband has been ill. I said, come out and join other women. She didn't turn up. And then I got home and said, what happened? Are you okay? Is your husband back in hospital? She said, no. She was angry. She said, oh, he didn't let me come because he says that you're always organizing these women who are wrecking home. You're a home wrecker. So being me, I said, look, can I talk to him straight away? And he was saying, no, don't listen to her. So I said, no, I'm not angry, you know. These are, you know, things. But the only thing that offended me was the fact that I've been a family friend. I come to your home. We do things together. But you never told me that I'm a home wrecker. Why don't you come and see what I'm doing? And that sort of changed him. It was a shock to his system. Since then, he never talked about it. He now says, oh, when are you having those women's events? Take my wife. You know, so this is my idea. So I think, and in our community, there are men that we know. These guys like Dayo. Somebody said to me that Dayo is a womanizer. And I said, why is he a womanizer? He's always hanging around women. He's always hanging about women empowerment and all of that. And then I met the Emir of Kano, Sanusi. He said the same thing, that people say that he's a womanizer because he's talking about the development of the girl child. So I want to recognize all the womanizers in our community and help them to womanize. Because when you say that you're a womanizer and you have all these women around you, all men are going to want to come and see what you're doing. You know, so those people who have the idea that it's all about women and, you know, sleeping rough and sleeping right, they will be involved. So that is actually the essence of it. And I thought that we should start this year by saying, look, let's recognize the men who have made the difference. Because when we do that, it will encourage more men to feel happy and secure to come and do it. Because there are men who do extraordinary things for their daughters, wives, and girlfriends and everything. But they are afraid to admit it. My ex-husband, his mother would say to him, you woman rapper. So she told you to do this and you did it, you're a woman rapper. And then he was ashamed, he was afraid. Things that he liked to do for me, he wouldn't do because he considered it weakness doing these things for women. So I think I need every man in this room to go out and talk about it. We need to create more ambassadors. We need to hold hands and work together. And as I say to people all the time, I am not the nicest person to have in your life, but I can be nice if you give me the chance. And as far as I'm concerned, there is no need any man feeling afraid when women are gathered together. The way I am, I was born naturally tough. Right? But I love tough men too. So I'm not looking to take my husband's or boyfriend's or partner's trousers. I want to come home and know that there's a guy in the house that when he's there, if you want to knock on the door, be very careful because you don't know what he will do. And I don't want him to wear my skirt because I want to live with, you know, a man. I will respect him. So he leaves my skirt for me. I leave his trousers for him. But we have to come together, recognize our uniqueness because it's that uniqueness that brings us together. And just if we recognize I can't have a baby without a man, he can't have a baby without a woman. So if we can actually compromise on those things, why can't we compromise on other things, respect each other for who we are, and then make life work for all of us? So I'm inviting all of you to be our ambassadors, to work with us, be our stakeholders, talk about it. We have games, things that we're going to do on this special day, which is the 14th of this month, which will then recognize you guys as the ambassadors, and then people can ask you questions, you can talk about it. So, October 14th. So, I'm going to hand over to Chichi now. She'll talk more about what we are trying to do, and then we can wrap up so that you can have your warm food as well. Thank you very much for coming.
So I told you guys to be amazing, right? So this is just the reason why, as soon as Jenny said this, I was like, this is amazing, right? So one of our volunteers, who is a man that lives in the UAE, when we told him about this program, he wanted to do a video for people to hear what he thinks and what he thinks about domestic violence. So I just want to play this video now for everyone to listen to. You don't need to, the pictures are a little bit, some of the pictures might be a little bit like, not really nice for people that don't really like really horrible pictures. But you're actually trying to come to the point of where we are. This guy has never been to Nigeria, but he looks at Nigerian culture and he always emails me and says, when something happens in Nigeria and someone like gets affected by domestic violence, he'll email me and be like, have you seen what's happened now? And then he sends me the link and he keeps me up to date about what's going on in Nigeria. And he lives in Bye.
A sister, a mother, a daughter, a grandmother, a friend, a colleague, a stranger, died. She wasn't sick. She was on the phone with me yesterday. She was crying when she called. She said he had hit her again. I didn't know what to say. I think I did know what to say, but something stopped me. I was thinking about what the society would think if she left. I was thinking that her kids needed both parents to be normal. I was thinking that it wasn't my business. I was thinking it's best I mind my business. But then, I was wrong. United Nations reports that 7 in 10 women worldwide experience physical and or sexual violence in their lifetime. 603 million women live in countries where domestic violence is not a crime. In Nigeria, West Africa, 1 in every 5 women or girls continues to be a victim of a form of gender-based violence. Nigerians' culture of silence, misinterpretation of religious doctrines, lack of strong legislations, cultural bias by public institutions meant to protect these women, and lack of active involvement of men has led to persistence of abusive practices against women and girls. When I read these statistics and facts, it's not just about the numbers. It's about that woman whose life has been cut short. It's about that woman out there whose experience on earth is destroyed. It's about that child whose opportunity is cut short just because she was born female. It's about those children who live in these homes and grow up to perpetuate same crime, which to them is the only reality they know. Gender-based violence is real. It involves physical, sexual, or psychological harm to women and girls. This health epidemic undermines human existence, weakens a nation, violates human rights, impacts on global development, and leaves victims devastated, traumatized, or dead. This act weakens a nation. Okwuí Mask Scheme is an all-inclusive, non-partisan group working to increase awareness on the menace of gender-based violence in today's society. We aim to inspire individuals to become informed about the faces of gender-based violence while getting governments to put in place stricter laws and regulations that protects its citizens. Victims of gender-based violence are everyone's victims. Survivors of this crime are everyone's survivors. I stand with Okwuí Mask Scheme to eradicate all forms of gender-based violence. I do not know about you, but so many people have stood with us. So many people are tired of this violence. So many people are afraid to speak up. So many people hide behind the mask. It's a difficult mask, but you can take it off and expose the beauty within you. Have you seen your strength? You are unbreakable. Take a stand today. There's another word you can die before you take a stand.
I'm going to stop here because he then does the campaign for the charity, which is not what we're here for. So it's really nice what he says about how everyone's victim is all our victims. So I'm going to talk a little bit about He for She because I think we've actually talked about it quite a lot. The original He for She project was done by UN Women about 6 years ago. And it started because the UN Women realized that, or UN in general realized that we weren't winning this war anymore, right? We were trying to talk about women being violated, we're talking about women's rights, but we weren't actually winning the war because what we forgot was that men were extremely important in this way against violence, right? Because if we think that let's assume that all men were never violated, right? And it was only women that are being violated by men, then getting them involved means that they actually understand what's violence. Because for what someone might think is violence, someone else might not be violence. And that's the reason why we started this project. So when Jenny and I started talking about He for She Heroes Award, I said to Jenny, we'll reach out to UN Women and see that we get this award based on the principles of UN Women. So that not only does that give us international recognition, it actually means that African people are actually thinking about how to become He for She people. Because a lot of people in Nigeria have signed out. The He for She group in Nigeria has got over 11,000 members. That means people are not keeping quiet. And the lady that said He for She is, I think she's originally from somewhere in Africa, I can't remember, it's just skipped my mind now. She works for UN Women, she's based in New York. She said that the first time that she started talking about He for She women, she had people sign up from Somalia, from different places. She said her inbox just didn't stop. It was just going on and on, because I had the privilege of hearing her talk to us. And it was just everywhere. People were signing up everywhere. By the time she knew it was supposed to be a movement of like 10 people, it was a movement of millions of people. And in Nigeria, we've got 11,000 people, and even our vice president has signed up to He for She women. He for She by UN Women, right? And he signed up like a few months ago, so which is good. You come out, you say, I'm He for She, and I stand for it. And this is similar to what we're doing in terms of our principles are based on the same thing. But we've said we want to do a Heroes Award because no one's ever thought about actually awarding people. So I'll tell you guys a little story because I think it's time we also need to just talk and have a nice time also. That's the whole idea, not just speeches. I walked into this man's office because I wanted him to come and speak at He for She. Only because I had followed his work for a long time and he's done a lot of work on domestic violence. He's done a lot of work on housing for women and for ethnic minority people also. And he's like really comfortable. Doesn't have to do this because it's just what he loves doing. And as soon as I walked in and I said to him, because he invited us when he read about this, and said, oh, you guys come and have a speak, come and talk to me about this. So I said, oh, I looked at his profile and I said, oh, this guy should really be speaking at this event, right? He should be our guest speaker because he's actually worked for women. And he talked to me and he said, you know why I told you to come? I said, why? He said to me, because for the first time in my life, I've heard someone say, I want to think about men, not women. You guys are tired of giving yourselves awards. And then he cracked the joke and said to me, this gender equality thing, what are we talking about? The Prime Minister is a woman. The Chief of Police is a woman in the UK. And almost everyone, like he counted so many people that were women in leadership. So how is that equality? But he said there's something I really like. Someone is actually going to pat on someone's back, like someone like him that has done work for 15 years. No one's ever said to him, well done what you're doing. Because of you, I am where I am today. So I'll say to women in the room today, if you've got husbands, yeah, and you went to work and they looked after your kids, they're He for She heroes. Because if they didn't look after your child, you wouldn't be able to go to work. It's something that simple. Those are heroes that we want to talk about. They don't have to do something excessively dramatic, like maybe, I don't know, wage a war, carry placard in front of parliament and shout He for She. We need to see what people are physically doing to save women. So if you go an organization and you think gender equality is important, then you need to be nominated. So the whole idea of today is to say, please come on board and be a He for She ambassador and work with us on the work we're trying to do. At the moment, we've got a few partners that we wanted to mention because some of them couldn't come here because of short notice, but they wanted us to mention them. So one is UN Women Headquarters has actually endorsed the program, and the UN Women in the UK have both endorsed He for She and what she wants, which we didn't really talk about. What she wants is the same, it's going to happen a week before. It's a free seminar for women, and it started out because we realized, men and women, sorry. It started out because we realized that sometimes you bring someone out of violence, you get them a safe place, they go back into that violence when you're not looking. So what are we doing? Are we telling them what to do? They're adults, we're kind of we need to hear what they want to have done. And when women come out and speak that day and say, this is what I want, we also want men to say, this is also what we want. So how do we work together as a team? How do we count everyone into this basket of the world to get us to where we need to be? Because as Ferdinand said in his video, it will destroy every nation. It destroys the nation. So how do we build our nation? By working together, right? And that's what the He for She women and He for She heroes is about. What she wants is about people actually coming out and saying what they actually want, and then we're all going to have a dialogue and then conclude that we end the month, because October is Domestic Violence Month, on the He for She Heroes Night on the 14th of October. So the good news is that I'm sure you guys love this venue. Do you not like it? It's not beautiful. No, like, does anyone have any objections about it? So this is just a glimpse into what the 14th of October is going to be about. Everyone is working. Park, don't worry, we'll try and think about park.
Yeah.
But parking is a London problem.
Yes.
So I don't think we can solve every problem, you know. But we'll try and see what they say about parking. So on the 14th of October, in this same place, this Royal Horse Guards Hotel, is where we're going to have it. But we're going to have it in like, there's a writing room, and then there's the library upstairs, right? And I always say to people, as I always say to Jenny, we don't choose venues because it's beautiful. We choose it because it has a meaning. So when we started looking for a venue for Royal Horse Guards Hotel, the first place, for the he for she, the first place that came to us was normally Okwuí scheme has the Lansdowne Private Club in Mayfair donates to us. So normally they give us venues at really subsidized rates in Mayfair because one of my volunteers is a member of the Lansdowne. So we said, okay, maybe we'll do it at the Lansdowne, but the Lansdowne is chosen as our organization environment because when they came into inception in 1908, not 2017, they were called a private club for men, but they admitted women also because they believed in gender equality. So when the first time that Max told me about it, I said, oh Max, this is a brilliant idea. We have to take it. And we took the offer from them, really nice. So when we decided to do he for she heroes, we said, Lansdowne is there, because Lansdowne's always happy to give us a room. So I called the Lansdowne, they said to me, we don't have space in October. Why can't you just do it another month? And I said, October is domestic violence month. That month is so important to us, right? And it's Black History Month. And we're trying to make history. Then I said, what else can we do? So one of the boys that volunteered for us said to me, there's a place called the Royal Horse Guards Hotel. I'll tell you a little bit about the history. I don't know whether you like it, but let's see. Because we said to ourselves, we have to do things in places that make sense. Sorry, I don't know what's on this one. We have to do things in places that make sense. So when we came to see this place, the first thing that captivated me was the library's got like 3,000 books by the Prime Minister, right? He's the greatest Prime Minister of the UK. The books are the books that he used to read, that is recreated in the library. And then they said to me, the Royal Horse Guards people said to me, do you know what this place is all about? This is where the Parliament sits and makes decisions about the UK. And I said, come on, we're talking about he for she making history. When else are we going to make this history? Here. Because Africans are going to let the UK know that we need to celebrate people. They're he for she heroes. We're going to do where there's history is being made, right? And the best part of it all is that when I thought about that, and then I said, do you guys do any charity work? And they said to me, yes, we do. I said, what charity work do you do? They said, we actually donate most of our profit to help for heroes. What else are we going to be?
Military.
Which is the military people that have served and defended. So what we're saying is that our men defend us to become greater people. We have to give back to these people that defended, and that's why we decided it has to be here. So I hope everybody here will join us on that day. But there's a little game we have to play now. We love games. Jenny, you know that. So we love really big games. Jenny, you're coming through for this game. So this is a t-shirt that people wear to say they're supporting. So we're going to give people 5 minutes to think about what they think they're going to do to support. And anyone that is the first person comes and starts and takes a picture, then we'll tell them what we think you should support them. So please come on board.
The first person that does what to stand there?
I've just said it once, I'm not going to repeat it because that's the whole idea of it. Who's the first person?
To just demonstrate your support.
Yes.
Oh, look at it.
Yay! And it gets harder after that. So, should we announce Adebayo Jones's role? He's going to be our special MC for the day. He's taking our picture. We're supposed to have a picture about that. Jenny, you're supposed to be standing here. It's teamwork. So we're really privileged that Ade is going to be our MC on the day. So if you want to hear Ade speak, Ade is a brilliant person. Like the first time I met Ade, I'm sure he remembers, I was so starstruck. Because I love his pieces. And more importantly, Ade is so important as a he for she because he makes women beautiful. Like when he recreates your outfits, you're like, oh my Lord, who makes that? Thank you so much for coming. Who's the next? Okay,
I was going to say, I've supported many women's organizations, projects, going, British Female Inventors, Innovators Awards, Global Women's Inventors, Innovators Awards, and then the African Women's Inventors and Innovators Awards for years. And I go with them around the world And what we do is to showcase what the women have and encourage them and build capacity as well. And you know, to see them flourish, to see them be strong. It's always a joy for me to go around doing this.
Thank you.
To be part of it.
Thank you. Who's the next one coming on board? Yeah! Two men at the same time! Jenny, you're announcing their roles.
Yes. You know,
Thank
this
you,
gentleman, since I've met him, anything that women are doing, he does it. He helps us. And then his wife is like the powerhouse of everything that we do. He never objects. He just lets her go and do it. And he's always there. He's not just there because he has to be there, but because he means it. So we are very grateful, Boma. Thank you so, so
may
much.
I also add that he supports his daughter, who is disabled, so much. From age 4, this man here has supported Pamela, and I will wish all of you to give him a round of applause. Pamela will be 27 on the 30th of October, and he supported her from age 4 till date. That's a wonderful man.
We've got a He for She Couples Award. We've got a He for She. What I'm just saying is that I'm not allowed to cheat because I have to be completely honest. So I'm just saying, in case anyone in this room thinks there's someone here or a couple that should be nominated, I don't know about it. I'm just saying.
Well,
So
good. And then you have my brother, the Almighty.
Yes.
Dayo. This is why you can call him at any time. He defends women's rights. Once women are involved, if you're involved in any project with Dayo and you say, oh, we want this to go to the woman, he says, oh, that's okay, she can have it. We want to provide support for this woman, he is there. When you talk about women empowerment, development, he provides seminars, he encourages everybody, he never treats anyone different. So he is our hero, and we are inviting him on board. We're very grateful that he has actually volunteered to be part of this as well. Thank you so much.
I was starstruck when I saw him because Jenny always tells me about him and I've never met him. I told him that. I said, oh my God.
And he didn't ask if you are coming.
Thank you so much. And he was here on time also. That's amazing. No Nigerian time. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate you all. I think my case is it's simply natural because I mean I've always I have my parents had about eight girls, and so naturally I've always been with the women in the house, in the kitchen to see what they're doing, and I've always supported them. So it's my pleasure. I mean, I've been in this country about 30 years, and I've always had, to support events that women, have been doing over the years. So, yeah, it's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much.
I'm very, very delighted to be part of this. Two people that inspired me the most in life are my mom and my wife. Anything about women radiates with me. When my father died, when I was 7 years old, my mother sold virtually all our belongings to send me to college. I made a vow that I'm going to make a success out of my life, and I will make sure that I honor women. Anything about women, I've done women conferences in Nigeria, in Dubai, everywhere. But there's one story that touches me a lot. There's this woman in Nigeria. She's like the queen of disabled people in Kaduna. This woman was in a violent marriage for 28 years. But she was married to a big man, former president of Nigerian Bar Association. It was very, very challenging. And after some time, she tried to separate from the man, and the day she was to go to court to be free, to go through a divorce to be vindicated, she died that long. And her name is Ronti Daudu. I think you can check her out. That story, her story is very, very And I think if we are doing something on that day, we can find a way to symbolize so that we send a strong message to people in Nigeria that fine, we talk about domestic violence, but there are some people who are married to some big men, untouchable. And when the wife died, Nigerian Bar Association sends a letter to talk about the husband, sorry that the husband, nobody talk about her. And they know what she was been going through for 28 years. So that's just by the way. I want to say I'm very, very part of this. I am an incurable he for she. I will support this project, Evelyn. I have over 10,000 people on Facebook. I'll make sure that I drive traffic to it, and I'll also support in terms of branding and strategic thinking behind this.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Ladies, you're not
Ladies.
You need to bring all the men. Yeah.
We are supporting.
Oh. Thank you so much.
Here's Bode. I met Bode through social media. He is such a wonderful man. What is so inspiring about him is that when the Chibok girls problem started, we were on social media talking about it and organizing campaigns and all of that. All from the blues, this guy contacted me and wanted to get information about me and what we were doing. When we turned up at the Nigerian High Commission, he was the only press person there with camera taking, and I thought, oh, okay, fine, we've got somebody working. He took all the pictures, he then gave it traction on social media, and he has since then never relented. Anything that women do, and he gets involved, he helps, even in my own personal things that I do, networking, computer and all of that, I always call him and he's always there. So I think he's another perfect he for she. He has no boundaries. He doesn't see me as a troublesome woman or a feminist. So he is one of our heroes, and he's done amazing things recently. So I think that he should also be involved in the community and tell us what he does, and also be part of this project to help to promote it too.
Thank you so much, Kelly, and thank you as well, Chichi. Well, absolutely. It's a project that I would love to support. It's a good thing that you mentioned the Chibok girls, and that was really one thing that I identified with. Just in a similar fashion, what I can promise is that as a public relations consultant, as a matter of fact, as a chartered PR consultant, I just qualified as a chartered public relations consultant on the 23rd of June. What I'll do is I promise to provide online media support, and wherever one could be of help, like drafting press releases, and getting in touch with my media contacts. That's one area where I could be of help, and I hope to do so. And likewise, talking about the story that you've narrated, I mean, even while you were speaking, I could see some angles that haven't been mentioned, which I feel one could highlight. Like taking a look at third-party involvement, for instance. I've seen situations whereby we've had religious leaders backing one of the spouses to bully the other. And so I think it's an area that you need to take a look at and be on board. But like Penny has said, it's really something that I would love to identify with. Thank you.
Thank you. So, there's a woman that came into the room. She was so quiet and silent, but I wanted to bring her up because I met her like a few months ago, and since I've met her every day on social media, she's blogging about this program, he for she. Every time she's tagging different things, and she's saying to me, I'm going to be there for you. She's getting a lot of men involved also to come and do the work. So as one of the first women that we want to officially invite, she's already like one of our sponsors in Center of Media. She owns something called Fem Media, and she's one of the media supporters at the moment, is Euphemia. Thank you. Thank you so much. So officially, you're coming. Jenny, you're going to come. Officially, Euphemia has been blogging more than I do, That's why I thought me and Jenny are the key for she people. Every day she's always on. She's always like, what's happening today? What are we doing? Can we speak to you? What can I talk about today? And it's been amazing. I just met you a few months ago, and I feel like I'm known her all my life now. Thank you so much for taking out time. I knew you were really busy today, and you still came. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm really honored to actually be part of this. Number one, some of you may not know what I do, or my company is called Famestar Media. And I also own Famestar magazine. And funny enough, the next issue is October, so I will be covering that fully in the magazine. I'm going to be supporting a lot from, obviously, my media company, like you said, and also in the entertainment industry, where I'm at. So I'm very passionate about things to do with life, love, and empowerment. My book is about empowerment. You know, my magazine, you know, the slogan of my company, Famestar Media, is "Let Your Star Shine." And unfortunately, because of lack of awareness, lack of knowledge or understand whatever it is, there seems to be warring between men and women, and it ought not to be that way. You know, love is what drives us, and we need one another. I can't do what I do without the support around me to do it. And when you have great men around you to do what you do, what you love to do, you have to honor them. You have to honor them. I can't say that enough, no matter what. So I'm really honored to be part of this, and I'm going to continue to obviously push it through my media company. Thank you.
Thank you. So there's so many important women in this room. Everyone is important. Everybody.
And I might take the liberty to think that I'm not going to be asking the ladies to volunteer it personally, because there are all on board. We are together in this.
Volunteer.
When all the women in the house, we're doing a little bit differently for women. There's still some men that haven't volunteered yet. I can see them.
They're not too sure.
So I want all the women in the house to stand up. If you know you're going to volunteer, the work of the women is plenty. You want to get your work first, or you want to sign up first? Oh, beautiful. So sign up first. Beautiful. That's the spirit. Please, can we all stand up? What's the question? Well done.
Wasn't a question.
We're going to take pictures together.
Once they finish, so that we can all take pictures.
And then we can continue.
And then we can continue.
There's loads of food still coming.
There's so much
drink.
I want you to eat.
Because the chef wants you guys to really enjoy the food so that you're tempted so much that on the 14th you're here on time to eat a special. So he's doing special. He's just said to me, I'm going to do special, the chef special today. So I don't even know what he's given us. But he's been amazing.
Thank you.
You love that.
Women in the house, let's do this. Let's stand with our men.
Yeah, yes. That was it. Guys, we need your protection.
Protection. The women in front, I think, and the men defending us at the back.
Yeah, let's get the posters.
Let's ask them to do just in case they have job.
Chicken and mushroom risotto.
Are you eating them?
No. I'm eating. No, they're eating already.
Thank you.
I'm on the charger. Does anyone else have a charger? The charger is it the same battery?
Yes. Where's the best
Let's
background
go
for
take a picture.
Is it here
We'll continue talking.
Madam?
Stick it to the back.
Okay, thank you. No, I actually want that.
Yeah, let's take
What's that?
Chicken and mushroom risotto.
We hold to the middle.
That means that you need to get that.
And the two men. I'm going to leave here. Like all the pictures. I think that everyone else stand for us. I'm going to stand back for a change.
No, if people come close, I think they can capture.
You see, you can't be hiding. What's in here?
Yeah, hold that. Try and hold now. Oh, we should all touch it. You know what? We can
Everyone
actually
can
have
touch it.
some
We
seats.
sit
Actually,
in
somebody can sit. Because that was getting more people. Yes, the lady. The
No,
chair
true.
lady.
Another.
Yes.
And a man sitting next to her, he or she.
Dr. Bola,
How are you?
And that means you guys may have to go to the other side because we've got all the kitchens
We need one more.
and because we're two.
This is South Africa.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
So, at the back. Are you okay there? I don't mind that. Chichi, are we okay like this? Yes. Are you okay? No, it's fine now. Do I need to hold something? We need to hold that.
You're blocking the live feed.
Are you alright? Do you need to move this thing? Yeah? Is there another one of those just to balance out that photograph?
Oh yeah, there's one more here.
There's one more, isn't it?
Yeah. What?
Yeah, one of the flyers.
I have an obsessive sense of balance.
Oh yeah, she does it well too. Thank you. And this one is wearing the right shape. It is alright. Please don't do let me get this with my chicken.
Why are you guys not joining us?
We'll join after this one. We'll join after this.
You're the ones that matter more than anybody else.
Everybody's part of the jigsaw puzzle.
Which camera are we looking at?
All of you.
Anyone.
It's catching everyone.
Camera 1,
But not
3,
really,
4,
so-
almost 10.
What's happening, Jenny?
I'm getting it. One of those dodgy ones that time. This is so good. This is so good. Thank you, people.
Thank
you.
you.
Shall we
join?
Are you moving?
Dario, I think you need to sit, Chichi. Dario, sit.
Yeah,
Yeah, sit here, balance it.
Okay. I'll send you guys.
Or you can sit.
Okay.
No, don't worry.
I think we need. Okay, you just fetching that one. Okay.
Not yet.
No, come in front of me. Sorry, to the right. There you go. Yeah.
Now, press. Press.
Okay. Sorry. As the main camera. Done? The he for she, young guy.
He's our star for the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's really good. Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
We're not leaving yet.
Yeah, please drink, eat, and all of that. The cards, we've got our cards.
We're not finished. People can't go yet.
Which one that one?
Okay.
Kazim.
Our second challenge is we have another game. The second game. Hold on, it's hidden somewhere.
I hope it's not under my face.
But it's not open.
This man, you sit down, look on there.
Are we all here?
Somebody is sitting.
Okay. Can anyone guess what this is? We haven't finished our games now.
Oh, thank you.
Does anyone guess what this is?
A package.
A package. I love that word, package. You just got a gift. Oh, it's a package actually. So this has our tickets in them for the event. So as part of ambassadors, which you guys have signed up to, so there's no getting anywhere anymore. We will like you to not just buy your own ticket, because we have a rule in Okwuí scheme, as Jenny will say to everybody, including me. If I don't pay for a ticket, they don't let me in, as a general rule, because that way it's fair on everybody. So what we want to do is, one, please buy your tickets. That's one. Please sell tickets also. And what we really want from each person is to say, I will commit one table to myself. So this is Ronke's table, this is Dio's table, this is Ali's table, and you actually sell that ticket, and each table has got 10 people in it, The regular tables are £75 per person, and £75 people say sounds a little bit a lot, yeah? But you're in the Royal Hosgats Hotel, that's one. They're gonna give you, this is just like a snap of some food that you're gonna have on the day. So 3-course 5-star meal by a world-known chef, he's really good, right? And then you also get like a free raffle for it. Then you get to come to this amazing award ceremony and meet amazing people that do amazing work. I don't know what else you want to do. It's just so amazing.
And we want all the stars. We
want all the stars.
Joshua, we want
all of them to come. Yeah, because a lot of them have signed up. Larry Kundaya has signed up. I spent like last Tuesday with him. The whole day was amazing. We did pictures. We had a really great time just getting stuff done. And Charles Venn, which has always been one of our ambassadors, is that he's always there talking about what he's done. Because he says to me all the time, whenever we talk, he says, Chichi, if it's not because of my mom, I wouldn't be where I am today. I was brought up by a powerful woman. You know, and there's so many people like this that tell me the stories all the time. So what we also really want from everyone here is to say, I'm going to sell a table, and to be very bold, you take your 10 tickets. It is your responsibility. And you deliver on the day. If you don't deliver, you just give us the money for it. So the other thing that is also really important is that we also solicit for 2 free tables on the day. And those 2 free tables, that's 20 tables, go to the women in the refuge. Because these women have never had a nice meal in a long time. They haven't had they've not come out to somewhere really nice. No one knows who they are. They stay with us on the day. So 2 tables are dedicated to them. They don't sit on that table, they sit with everyone else. But 20 people in that room will be coming from the refuge, all dressed up, having a nice time for the first time in a long time. That's really important to us. So when you meet people and they say to you, I can't come to the event, I'm happy, it's okay, just buy a ticket so my woman can come. You buy a ticket, some woman can come. And obviously this year, because we've had male refugees, we're going to try and see if we can get 5 free tickets for men, because some of the men might not be willing to get there yet, and maybe next year we'll increase the numbers with that. So it might be something else that is worth thinking. So when you sell, like when I sell tickets, I say to everyone, you can't tell me you can't come. It's okay. There's a woman's table that's still waiting to be brought in. The other thing you guys can also do for us is get organizations also that might want to donate something. Normally, the raffle jobs, we've got Joel and Son always donating to us every year. If you know Joel and Son, they do really nice fabric. Last year, they gave us 2 amazing silk scarves that people got for free. It was really, it was so beautiful. They were worth like £450 each. And the people that are not here today that I'm going to talk about is Ade Bakari. Some of us might know him. He's also Adebayo Jones's, would I say contemporaries or friends, yeah? He designs for women also, and he loves making women beautiful. Ade is also one of our greatest supporters because Ade always flies in from Nigeria to come and do his fashion show. And when Ade does his fashion show, he donates everything to the charity for us to auction. So if you've ever dreamt of wearing Ade Bakari's clothes, this is an amazing time to get it for close to nothing. Because Ade says, do you like this design? I say, yes, we always text him everything. And Ade comes in, he takes charge of things, he sorts out the fashion show. And he's amazing when he does his work. We're not going to leave men out this year, so although we're going to dress women, there's also an amazing man called Mace Couture, who always, Mace is overly amazing. I don't know how to explain it. He's like, him and Adi, and all of them are just so great. I don't even know how I met these amazing people. And Mace will always donate stuff to the charity. So if you've always thought about, I really want to wear Mace's stuff, I think these things are brilliant. They're all in Milan fashion show, this one, and you want to be like on the catwalk with Mace, right? Mace is going to be there that day donating stuff. Everything that we do the fashion show with gets donated to charity and it's auctioned. We've also got some amazing man that donates a yacht experience where you go to Spain on this beautiful private yacht. It's like amazing. Last year he was there. He's called Mr. Patel. He's also another he for she man because he's got a child that is disabled and he actually raises money for charity. So he's one of our really big donors and donates this experience that is normally what, like £15,000, and gives it to us for less than nothing, just so that people that come in can have that option of getting it auctioned and getting that as part of what they do. And that's a little bit of what's going to happen on that day. We don't want to talk about the whole day because if we then do it, then takes away the shine of it.
Yes. And just if you're wondering what we're going to do with the money we're getting from the ticket, we will nearly go into this, but we think that it's something that we need to do to start it off, give people an amazing experience. But whatever remains would actually go towards supporting the women. doing the right watch and encouraging them and all of. We're not making. We're not making profit. It's not a money thing. If it's a money thing, we would do to go to Harrods and invite them. And again, there's something so special that we are going to do on the 7th of October. We are going to start this kickoff with what we call What She Wants. It's a women's campaign, and what we are saying is that, like somebody said earlier on, you go and bring out these women from refuge, or men from refuge, and then you bring them out, and the next day she's run back or he's run back because maybe he doesn't have the economic means and he relies on this person and all of that. And there's so much going on about women development and women empowerment. But when you're talking about empowering women, do you know what that woman really wants? So we've called it What She Really Wants campaign. And it's something special that we have designed. We are going to make it, it's going to be something very, very new. And there's money going to be realized from it. And we're going to use that money as well to give to these women to empower them. So we're going to be advertising, and we want people to come on board. We want men and women to sit in the same room and talk about our issues. And the way we have done it, you're not going to come out and say, oh, my husband or my wife beats me. You can write it down, we will raffle it. June can read it and say, oh, I'm Ngozi. Meanwhile, she's June, and my husband beats me. I just came out of women's refuge. I've lost an eye. I don't know what else to do. I don't feel beautiful. Or I'm a man. My wife pours a pot of soup on my head, and I've lost my confidence. We talk about all of these things, and then we will find out, how we can come with a solution on how we can talk about it more to encourage more people to talk. So that's part of the day, and we are hoping that all of you are going to be in the journey. Talk about it. Let's blog it. Let's make UN and AU beautiful, make them happy, to identify with Africa. Africa has come, we have landed, we're on board. Thank you. If anybody has any questions, ask us, and we'll be quite happy to answer. Yes?
It's a good thing. I have always been an advocate for men, because one, my father is my mentor, and I've got 2 boys. And I usually promote men than women. Have more movements than but the challenge I have is another award. Why not just celebrate them? Because you know why? Everybody's just doing awards, and it's like another one. I know very well, because Chichi and Jenny, I know you guys very well. I know it's not going to be one of those tacky ones, but it's just that it has become. But the fact that we want to celebrate, it's I would have felt better if it was celebrating them, not like an award.
Yeah.
That's my personal.
And you know my position about awards, because the proliferation of awards within the community embarrasses me. I said to somebody that one day you're going to give me an award for washing my food and my plate after food. But I think that we need to begin to make something that is meaningful, something that is different, because from my understanding in the olden days, if you're given an award, it is something you can probably put on your CV, and they say, oh my God, the World Health Organization recognize them. But we have belittled awards so much that it's not making any sense. But we thought that this is a different pedigree of our award, because there is a meaning to it. It is something that hasn't been done, but majority of the people who are going to be there, it's actually supposed to be recognition and award night. But when we say that, it becomes too long for people to pronounce. All the guys that are going to be part of it are going to be recognized. They're going to get something, symbols that show that they're part of this and all of that. But to get people to aim higher, it's going to be just 10 awards. We're not going to be giving an award for cleaning your teeth or something. That's something, that's something that people should do. And then, you aspire. Like, I went to a group and they had this phenomenal woman. And they're talking about people like Okwuí and the rest of them. So we want to have something like that people should aim to get. And when they get it, it becomes a lifetime thing that they can appreciate, which will inspire other men to do it. But, you're all on board. If we have different ideas, we're quite happy to consider them so that it makes it more acceptable to people. We're not just doing it because we want to do it, but we're here to listen. Advice, will be acceptable. Yeah. Thank you.
I'm really happy you said this thing, because the same thing you said is what I said to Jenny when we mentioned about an award ceremony. Why would I turn our charity event into an award ceremony? But I think I got really, really inspired when I spoke to a lot of men, that not African men, right? Mostly European African people, because in our work, we work mostly more with Caucasian people. And I spoke to the UN, and they said doing an award is more impactful than just recognizing men and celebrating them. Because you actually find someone that you say is known for what thing that they do, everybody else looks up to them, and they become inspiration to other people. If you just say, if we did exams now, and every time we did exams, they say, okay, it's okay to just keep going on. If you got a distinction and you got an award for getting a distinction, next time you will aspire for more. And that's the reason why I thought at the end of the day, I was like, this award thing is an amazing thing. And it's good we mentioned this because we want to show you guys how to actually nominate people. So this is based on what UN has sent to us about what categories. So it's okay, you have to meet a certain category to actually be recognized. And this is not limited to only Nigerians and Africans, it's for everybody. So if you globally, everyone is nominating people from everywhere. So if you go onto the website, which is www.okwuimasking.com, it's also on our Facebook page, and you put /he4she heroes, you'll see a little bit of a play that talks about he for she, and the nomination, that there's a video that talks about the same video that we played to you guys. And what we want to see everyday heroes, someone that does embody the values of gender equality and different things, and you just click on it. It's a little bit, people find it a little bit challenging because it's not something, the UN is behind this, so we're not going to just give people awards. So it's quite like a 3-page document where you go on to the next one and you give another reason and go to the next one. So that also discourages people from just nominating someone off the streets or thinking my friend is the best person to nominate. You have to sit down and tell us why they're really worth it. And there's actually a board of people beyond me and Jenny. Me and Jenny is like the people that started this. There's actually a board of people, which is me, Jenny, and someone from UN Women that's going to sit down and decide who gets nominated. There are people already that have actually been offered up by either UN Women or different people in Africa and the UK for awards already. So those people will get recognized more than having an award. So to get an award, you have to actually demonstrate that you don't work. There has to be footage of what you've actually done. And that's what it's all about. So you click on the different categories, and it says about your name and whatever. You go on to the next page. You have to even put a website, and it says 3 ways your nominee demonstrates that he's a he for she hero. So you've got to even go and read what he for she hero means and understand what it means before you start putting the answers in. And this is the template UN Women sent to us. And then there's different other stuff that you have to write about, and you have to put additional information. So as Jenny said, we have a few categories for this, which is, let me just see if I can go back. There's everyday hero, there's a leader who actually leads. There's the one for companies. If there's any company that you work in where you think they really stand for women, they want to make women stronger, they want to get women where they need to be, and we should talk about them. Influencers are people that actually go out and say to other men, come on board. Like the boy I talked to you about that volunteered for us, he's brought in so many men into the work and said to them, these girls are not talking about how they're going to take over the world from us. They are talking about how to make the world better for everybody. And then he keeps bringing people. But that doesn't still qualify him because unfortunately he's a volunteer in the charity, so he's eliminated from the nomination. So, and there's also a he for she at home. And I think he for she at home was specially selected because it's time you start saying the fact that someone looks after your child is an amazing thing for you to go and go to work. And that's
they both own the child.
I know, but
some people, we are trying to change the trend because some people think that looking after children is a women's thing, but there are men who are leading it and saying no, it's like not a women's thing. Anybody can do it.
When you say no, you're right. You brought them here, so whoever looks after them. I mean, I grew up. But looking after us. So always think about, so I think on it also, let me see, you're really right. I should take that back. That sounds a little bit. He's not going to
So sorry, we're just having a side talk here about house husband, and I know where I come from. Actually, I've got a cousin who is a house husband in Saudi Arabia, and where I come from, everybody says she not to shake with. They've cast him.
Thank you.
Because the wife was a doctor, so he wants to run there.
In fact, if I happen to be a house husband, my father-in-law will not respect me.
So we want to hear about he for she at home. So there are also people that champion, that they support their partners and champion champion human rights and women empowerment. Then we also have the special he for she gender equality couple. So if you honestly think that your husband and you work together for women empowerment, then you should be able to nominate. The he for she volunteer is just someone that works with women charities that wants to empower people. At the moment, we've got 4 nominations already that have been sent to us by Huffington Post for people that they've talked about before, and then we also want to like spread it around for everyone else to nominate. And that's it really. That's the only awards that we're having. They're actually, I don't know, 6 or something. That's what we've chosen from it. Then we're going to have a few recognition awards from the work that we've seen people do. And then if those people for recognition awards, we will put on Facebook for people to actually comment that they deserve the recognition award, because it all has to be done officially for it to go through. So that's how you get your nominations
And we're
done.
here to be supported and advised. It's just our idea, but it's something that affects
everybody else.
So
Yeah.
if you have a better idea, something that you think will make it better, please let us know. We will consider it and work together.
So before we go ahead, I just want to say thank yous first of all, before we go ahead. So the first person I'm going to thank is our youngest he for she in the room. He's called Mojid. You know So I just met him a few hours ago and he said to me, Auntie, I'll do the pictures. I said, yes. He said, yes. Because the person I was supposed to take pictures today did not turn up. But it's okay. You did a really good job. Thank you so much. And I want to thank, like they say, what we talk about, the family being a structure and people mentoring their children to be great, isn't it? So this young boy is being mentored today to be great, but someone else should tell him that this is what he should be in, isn't it? Right? So his dad, who is Abayomi, in this short notice that Jenny, I don't even know what I was yesterday or this morning they told you, and he said yes, I'll come and video it, because normally we have Ben TV sponsoring us and they were supposed to be here, but because there was a lot of a technical issue, they didn't get our emails on time, they couldn't come, and they said to me last minute, you need to get someone to video this because they're going to air this on air, and I'll let you guys know when it's going to be aired. And then luckily he stepped in to help us. Thank you so much. Like, we're extremely grateful. Then I think the biggest thank yous to everybody in this room who did not mix. People call me and say, I thought it was tomorrow, not today. Who actually out of your busy schedules left everything you were doing
on Monday.
Yeah, left everything that you guys were doing and came out here to support us. It's, I don't know how to say, it's super amazing to have all of you on board. And I know that after I finish this speech, you're going to tell me how many tables you want to sell, because I haven't forgotten the tables seriously. But I just want to say thank you to everyone here. All of you are so important, and I don't know what's the word I need to use. You guys are all beautiful people. You're doing great work, and it really touches my heart because I know because of you, we will be able to like help more women. And as Jenny said, majority of the money that we raise on that day will cover the cost. Whatever's left goes to Kickstart, Foster a Woman, and one other way we can help women that you might even suggest to us, well, I know about this person, do you think they can be helped? So what is going to be good that from now on we will try and get you guys to know what the charity is doing, because you can also have women in your societies that live in Nigeria that need this Foster a Woman project award for next year, because it gets run from February till April every year. And when we give them the awards towards the charity, what we announce who the person is, they get their money, we get them a mentor, but they have to have mentors in Nigeria, because unfortunately, if they're not mentored, we're not going to be able to like control what's going on, and we don't give them money again. So it's what, when you let them know, tell them there's no money in it, what happens that they tell us a business that they want to do, we go out, we get them to shop, we buy what they need, we actually set up a payment plan for them, because if you give someone money, they go ahead and they do whatever they want. So they actually pay us back the money, and at the end of the year, they get that money to invest back into their businesses, and I've seen them grow. And it gives me so much joy when they come and say, I've just learned how to do this, do you want to see it? And I say, yes, we take it here. This year, we haven't said it, but this year we started bringing some of their things to the UK, like Women's Aid does already, and we've decided that we will put it out there for people to actually buy to help them build businesses, and then that helps us with the work they do in Nigeria. So,
are you involved in something around packaging in terms of maybe some women in the north?
We haven't done that yet, no.
Because I met a first lady of Kebbi State, and she talked about some of the things those ladies are doing. The challenge they have is how to just package those things, those raw material, so much just help them to.
It might be worth telling me. I want to show you guys this just before we go, because I think this is a great idea.
We can look into that.
We've actually, I think, Noni, you've seen it, is at the store that we just opened for the women. Most of the things are done by the women we support, but also because the Nigerian people know how to make more money than we do. They've also sourced some of the products and added it on, so we have a bigger shop. And it has the things from the women, it has things for, there's one man that has been helped by the church who does a lot of the work also. He does a lot of leather work and he sends to us. Some of the things are sourced, so they mix the women things with the male things and he sends it to us. And I open them an Etsy shop and I put it on for them also to try and get it sold. And I try to wear the brand, so that's why I'm wearing my patch shoes. So, and I think what you said now is really important, so we'll talk about that after now. Because that might be something that we should be thinking about, because everyone is celebrating Africa.
To bring ideas and then let's share it.
So again, I was going to show you guys, let me see. So don't worry, you don't have to. So we put it here for them at the moment, but hopefully the website will go on. Very soon the website will go on board in full force soon, but these are part of the things that they've done that we put on here tonight. I'll send you guys the link and just spread the word and just get there, read it. Obviously your tickets are available on eBay. For you guys, tickets are not available in Eventbrite. We hope you can pick up tickets that you're gonna guarantee us that you're gonna sell. And if you pick up a ticket, please do sell it, because once you pick up a ticket, we want you to say to me, I'm going to sell this ticket. Because what we've noticed in the past is that people take on tickets, they sit down and hope for a miracle to fall on the day for the tickets to get sold. If we don't sell, if we don't bring people on board, we're going to get there. And as Africans, we're just going to be outnumbered by every other person. So I want to say thank you again to everybody. And I'm going to get Jenny to round up. Don't feel in a hurry to leave. The Royal Horse Guards is happy to have you so that you can enjoy the ambience and remember to come back on the 14th of October. Jenny is run out of words now. She's so overwhelmed by everybody. Thank you so much again. Thank you for supporting us. Can people tell me what tickets they want to take in private? Thanks. So you don't
whenever you find people who are willing to buy ticket or who are willing to buy ticket, just let us know. And something we have as well is that we are saying that if, for instance, Okwuí and Co decides to organize people to buy tables, on that they will have Okwuí and Co. If Kanuk decides to buy a table, we say Kanuk and Co. If Adebayo Jones and friends, Dayolomo and friends, so that table we have to put it there. And if there's anything you have that promotes your company, we'll put it in the LED so that as we dine and wine and dance, you'll be going around and we see what's happening. So, yeah. So it's not going to be the usual thing you do, Sahara table, Nigeria table. No. If you engineer something, we can put you here, June and friends or something. Yeah. No, we're not kidding anybody. My brother, thank you so much. I am so proud. Thank you.
He's taking on tickets. Don't go away yet. We have tickets here.
There's no pressure to take it now. I have to.
There is pressure.
I have to get Chichi has the ticket. So whenever you're ready, let me know, and then please help us to market it. Yeah, please help us to market it. Tell people that we're publicize it.
One number.
Okay, as usual, the name is Okwuí. I hope you've been enjoying the event as we've been bringing it to you live all the way from the Royal Horse Guard Hotel right here at Whitehall. We're just about 10 minutes or less than 5 minutes away from here to number 10 Downing Street, and this is exactly where the event will be taking place. And I do hope you'll be joining us in October 14th, where they'll be having the He and She Heroes Recognition Award. It's always a very, very long day. It's always a beautiful day. Last night we were organizing and participating as a community with our own icon. I keep calling him an icon because he's a humanity for advocacy, Prince Eze Inayacho. Yesterday at the Empire Lounge, where he launched his book. But we are right here again where we are having another event that has been organized by Jenny Okafor where they'll be having a big event coming up in October. Again, as usual, it's Nigeria Diaspora, one central hub, connecting not just all the Nigerians, but all the Africans in UK. But the most important thing is we'll be supporting this event all the way through as a media partner. But the most important thing is make sure you're also picking up your own ticket to be part of this event. Like I said, you might just after this event or in October also be taking a stroll down to number 10 Downing Street, which is literally 5 minutes away from here, and we're just about 3 minutes away from the Nigerian High Commission. I took my kids out today as well, and I was able to show them the Nigerian High Commission. And the most important thing is, Nigeria Diaspora, we're there to support you as long as we're aware of whatever is coming up to you. This Wednesday, Nigeria Voices is going to be boom. I've got a lady that will be speaking to us on child safety. She resides in Nigeria, but she's whether on holiday or whatever it is in UK. But I've decided to get hold of her because these are very important people doing great things, making sure that our children are being protected, in Nigeria. So she'll be speaking to us on the Wednesday on Nigeria Voices. We'll also be showcasing a very business in Nigeria. This is one thing Nigeria Diaspora will be doing. We'll be showcasing different businesses. We don't know them, but we've done a background check. And what we're trying to do is, on our own little bit, to showcase them, so that they can work, more than what they're doing at the moment. That will be coming as well. Also, Tokuba's Kitchen will have to tell us why an Englishman have decided to be eating beans and gari. She'll be able to tell us that and how she started her journey. But the most important thing is we're right here at the Royal Osgard Hotel, where they've been having a press briefing about the event that will be coming up, in October the 14th. Again, as usual, my name is Okwuí Koiki, bringing it to you close to home. I hope you've enjoyed it as well, so as I have enjoyed it, and we do hope you'll be able to join us again in October. There's a lot of events coming up as well this weekend, all the way in Barking. There's an event coming up. There's also a big event coming up as well in Liverpool, and we hope to be at Liverpool this Saturday. More details to come as well. We give kudos to all the Nigerian community and all the Africans, doing great things, not just in the United Kingdom, but globally as well. But also, we were at the African Fashion Week. Boom! One of the biggest events, in this summertime. As you can see, I keep wearing my African attire because we're enjoying it right in summer. But as we are wearing all this African attire, we are bringing the positivity that Nigeria will be a great place, and that is one of the reasons why a lot of events is taking place within the community, and it is very important that we continue to support all this event, because most of this event goes back as well to Nigeria, it goes back to other African countries, and that is one of the reasons why we must continue to work together to make things happen. Nigeria Diaspora will be there to support you, and likewise, Kazo magazine, as you can see, right there is Kazim Sumano. If you have not heard about him, let's bring one of that magazine. Kazo Studio magazine, is one magazine that you want to make sure that you lay your hands on. You could check him on Facebook. One person that can do all your graphic design, from your print to your graphic design. You need to get in touch with Kazim Sumano. He's a top guy. I've known him, for a very long time, as far as back, when we were in secondary school, and he's the best artist. If you're looking for an artist to design whatever you're looking for, this is the right person that you need to be speaking to. I would like to say a big thank you to everyone that has come in here. We'll be able to see, maybe we can get one or two people to speak to us as well on this upcoming event to tell us, what they think about it, and also a little bit before we call it a day. Thank you very much for joining, and this is just now the part of the event, networking. This is where we mingle. We had a bit of small chop, which we've been having behind the scene, but the most important thing is we say a big thank you to all our followers on Facebook for being in tune anytime we're live to you. Again, watch out, it's a very busy weekend, and we'll be back again all the way from Liverpool, where it's happening. Again, Lagos State Union is having a big event in September the 30th. UNA is having an event. Also, Ade Beauty, the TAR event is coming up in October. There's so much event that is coming up, but we will make sure that we do as much as possible to cover all this event Olayomi Koiki, one central hub, connecting all the Africans in the United Kingdom. Make sure you tune in this Wednesday, Niger Voices. It's going to be 3-in-1, Tokumbo's Kitchen, and we'll be talking about child safety, which is very important. And thank you very much for everyone that have joined us. Let's see if we can get some of the people to us. We're going to speak to, the only DDO within the community. The leadership is coming up very soon in September. For those of you that are not aware of that, you should be buying your ticket. I keep saying, if you're not being retrained, then there's no point, thinking of what you're doing at the moment. We need good leadership, and right now we've got Dr. Dayo Olomo to be able to tell us, what you saw about this event and a little bit about your upcoming event. As very soon, in about less than a couple of days, you'll be having a leadership, while we need a lot of leadership within the community.
Yeah, thank you very much, Yomi, for this opportunity. I'm very, very excited to be part of this historic moment where we are unveiling the E for She Heroes Award, and it's about celebrating men who are supporting women. So I'm very, very excited to be one of the ambassadors. But what makes me to be more excited now is the fact that we are getting ready for the High Impact Leadership Summit coming up on the 2nd of September 2017. And we're going to have Canon Yemi Adedeji, who is one of the best in the industry, and my very self. And it's about helping people to develop their leadership skills, how they can be more effective leader. We live in a VUCA world. It is volatile, it is uncertain, it is complex, it is ambiguous. We need the kind of leaders that will raise the bar of excellence. We need the kind of leaders that can lead now and into the future. And that's what we are doing for 4 hours. And you can buy your ticket at Eventbrite, or you can just inbox me. If you go on Facebook, you will see. But I will say that it's going to be an event that will be working. We're going to share tools, we're going to share information, we're going to share principles, we're going to share strategies that can make people to move from zero to hero. I'm very, very excited about it, and I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you very much for the time. Thank you very much. Well, you've had it there from Dr. Dayo Olomo to us there about the upcoming Leadership Award, leadership training coming up on the 2nd of September. You must make sure you pick up a ticket. If you really want to be successful, you must be a great leader. And that way you'll be able to do so much for yourself and for the world and for the country or wherever you've come from as well. Thank you very much for everyone that have joined so far. Let's see if we can get one more person to be able to speak to us before we say Odapo. If you could just tell us, I know the event is coming up. You've been speaking, for the last 4 hours. Just to round it up in summary, for those that are watching on Facebook in the last 4 hours, and where they might be able to get the ticket, because that's the most important thing as well.
So to get your tickets, you can go onto Eventbrite and just type E for She Heroes Award, and it just comes on Eventbrite. 2, you can go onto our Facebook page, Okwuí Masking, and like the page, click on where it says, there's a link there that says the ticket. Also click on the event to say you're coming, so we know about you. Or you can just email us. If you email us, we can send our bank details, you send us your ticket, we reserve it for you, and on the day you get your ticket. So remember, domestic violence is real. We have to kick out domestic violence. So join us in this fight. Let's box out domestic violence.
I know you said the statistics, and I want that to shrink straight into those that are listening. How many people die in a week?
At least more than 3 women lose their life every week in the United Kingdom because of domestic violence. Worldwide, the numbers are even more. So in places like Nigeria, over 10 people die every week from domestic violence. And 1 in 5 women will be a victim in Nigeria due to gender-based violence, which includes domestic violence, rape, female genital mutilation, and childhood marriage. So this is real. And as I said to you before, 700 women still live in countries where domestic violence is not considered a crime. So there are no laws protecting these women. Are you still telling me you're not going to make a difference? Join this campaign. Let us kick out domestic violence. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, you've had it there from the main organizer, and from me now, I would like to say Udabo all the way till Wednesday, where we'll be bringing to you. We should be going for another press release for Ebenezer Obey and King Sunny Ade. This Friday is a busy summertime within not just the Nigerian community, but also globally as well. There's a lot happening in Nigeria as well. There's a lot happening in Kenya. There's a lot happening in Nairobi. There's a lot happening all over the world. But if you want to know what is happening closer to home, make sure you follow Nigeria Diaspora on Facebook. We're also on Twitter. We're also on Instagram, so that you don't miss anything. So that by the time we're coming live, you know what is already coming up. This Wednesday as well, Nigeria Voices, tell someone to tell someone, where we'll be making things happen. From me now, all the way from Royal Osgard, I say to you, good evening, and whatever you're doing, remember there is a lot of people that are losing their life against violence, against not just the women, but also the men as well. So let's make sure we tackle this and eradicate it. You know, there's the statistics in the United Kingdom, the statistics in the Western world, but imagine how many women are losing their life in Nigeria, where there's not enough statistics to tell us that these women are losing their life. If you can remember that, you will remember October the 14th, where we'll be back again in this same venue, Royal Osgard. From me now is exactly 10 minutes past 9, and we say to you, Odabo.